It is Monday, 6 December 2021, and welcome to Network Media Hub at 1. From me, Glenn Shipura. Stay tuned for highlights from today's announcement about COVID-19 by State House, as well as video news from the harbour town of Lüderitz in the Karas region, Swakopmund, and Namibia's capital city, Windhoek. In incoming news today, President Geingob this morning confirmed the detection of 18 cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 in Namibia. The head of state repeated his criticism of countries that impose travel bans against countries in Southern Africa. We should come together as one world and one global village to defeat the common enemy, COVID-19. Geingob stated before pleading with the public to adhere to prevention measures. Locally, no new measures were announced to curb an increase in new cases in Namibia, but regulations may be reviewed next week, depending on how the situation develops. Geingob and Dr. Kalumbi Shangula, Minister of Health, emphasized the importance of vaccination. Here's a short excerpt from the head of state's message.
Those of you who are not vaccinated are undermining the efforts of government in defeating this deadly virus. Those of you among us who are not vaccinated are reversing the gains we have made in the fight against COVID-19. Those among us who are not respecting the health protocols in place and refusing to wear masks and practice social distancing are reversing the gains we have made in our fight against COVID.
In our first news brief from the regions, during the inauguration of Novanam's 2 new deep-sea trawlers, Fisheries Minister Derek Claassen said young people should ask what they can do for Namibia, rather than ask what Namibia can do for them. The vessels have a combined value of 320 million Namibian dollars and will fit the company's value addition factory in Lüderitz. Elizabeth Joseph attended.
And that is exactly what she's doing, you know. We must not wait for handouts, but we must act upon it, you know. And this, boats like these, the technology, our youth, they can snack these things faster and they can really make their life so much better for themselves. Some of us,
since its inception, in ensuring that the Namibian fish reaches all corners of this country. To the town of Lüderitz for welcoming us since Day 1 in 1990, for letting us make Lüderitz our home, and for giving us a societal license to operate. To the heads of other Lüderitz fishing companies, we, as Novanam and Lalani, we do not work in isolation. Lüderitz is a shared responsibility for all of us. To the union leaders, who keep the collective best interests of our people always in mind. To our strategic partners, rights and quota holders, who share in our belief that Lüderitz is where we must be, that Lüderitz is worth, and the South is worth it. Deep Sea, Consolidated, Fitco, Omahuka, and others who are here.
And from Swakopmund, the well-known sports and event facilities at the Dome now has MTC as its official sponsor. Micheline Nawatasis reports.
We know this building very, very well. We've had the Namibian Annual Music Awards here for about 5 years. We've been up there, we've flown birds in this building, we've slept here, and we know this building. This partnership started many, many years ago. Even before the Dome leadership knew about it, we knew that after a few years we're going to be partners here. And we were just waiting for the right time. So I would like to thank you very much for this incredible partnership. Like you said, it's not only about sports, it's about nation building. This partnership can only mean much, much better things for Namibian youth. You spoke about preparation, and this is the thing that just mind boggles me about Namibians. We expect results, and then we want to go and prepare a day before the event starts. It doesn't happen like that. Not in business, not in your house, not in sports. Because whoever you're going to compete against has prepared for the last 12 months, sometimes even 3 years. And what you see on the very day is the result of preparation.
Our athletes do not do today what the rest of the world is doing. At the right time, they're doing the right things, then they can never compete in 4 and 8 and 10 years' time from now. So it is important that you have to recognize the talent and that you nurture that. Earlier this week, the Dome has been ratified as a member of the Association of High Performance Sports Centers. If you look at MTC, I mean, they've absolutely demonstrated their passion for sport, and they have the ability to contribute, and over the last many years they've contributed a large amount of money.
Namibia's LGBTQ plus community continues its struggle for equal treatment. A pride parade was held in Windhoek on Saturday to support this drive. The following footage was compiled by Yana Morris-Smith.
On Saturday, Windhoek lit up in colour and joy as hundreds of Namibians marked this year's Namibian Pride Parade. Saturday's Pride Parade marked a fitting end to a year that has seen the rise of a community intent on claiming its constitutionally promised rights to equality, dignity, and their right to choose who they love. The cheerful atmosphere contrasted sharply with several protest marches that took place over the past year, in which Namibia's LGBTQ community and allies protested what was described as state-sanctioned homophobic policies and laws. This is what equality looks like! This is what independence looks like! Everyone wants free looks like! This is what free!
No more to laws that are used to incite violence upon our community by the people who are elected to serve us, by the people who are elected to uphold the Constitution, by the people who apparently fought for the liberation of this country, but gay and lesbian and transgender persons are still to have equality and liberty. So we are here today to be emancipated from state-sanctioned homophobia, and we will continue to show up, and we will continue to hold them to account, because there is no freedom if there is no equality. And to the other members of parliament, to them we say, we will meet you at the ballot box. We will meet you in 2024. We are watching. We are watching your party manifestos. We are watching you on the floor of parliament, abusing your power, separating families, creating stateless children, harassing transgender persons. We are watching.
And now moving on to our COVID-19 monitor. Another 13,000 tests for COVID-19 were processed during the 7-day cycle up to Friday, at an increased average of about 1,900 tests per day. Of these tests, 616 yielded positive results, and by Thursday, the positivity rate reached 8% of swabs collected. Although this is much lower than the more than 20% in South Africa, cases in Namibia are clearly on the rise. Daily averages increased from 13 to 88, and 66 of these cases were reported in the Windhoek district. Active cases as a result increased to 679, while the overall recovery rate decreased to 96.7%. Only one death was, however, recorded during this cycle, and hospitalization remained limited. The number of fully vaccinated individuals increased to 317,645, still representing only 12.7% of Namibia's population. Over the same period, the number of people accommodated in official quarantine facilities increased from 112 to 279. A total of 321 people entered these facilities over the past 7 days, while 238 were discharged. Let's visit the marketplace again before we look at what is leading Namibia's print media today.
I'm gonna cross that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. I'm gonna leave my heart wide open. Yes, I am. Let me tell you, baby, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, baby, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yeah, baby, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And now let's have a look at our front page news. Today's Namibia Sun repeats government's call for calm as signs of fourth wave of the COVID-19 pandemic increases in various parts of the country. In its second lead, the Sun reports that an employee who was allegedly forced to undress by a shop owner in Windhoek is suing the former Chinese employer for damages of $500,000. The Namibian places the cost of Namibia's national fuel storage facilities at Walvis Bay back in the spotlight, with confirmation by authorities that consumers foot a large part of this bill through contribution of at least 60 cents to the cost of each liter of fuel sold in the country. According to Republican, the international shortage of freight containers and resulting delays in export caused Namibia's exports of charcoal to decrease by an estimated 30 to 40% during 2021. The Afrikaans Daily leads with the Ministry of Education, Art and Culture explanation why compromised grade 11 examinations cannot be completed this year. Namibia's German daily, the Allgemeine Zeitung, reports on PDM MP Nico Smith's criticism of the controversial investment bill that was recently tabled in Parliament, only to be withdrawn shortly thereafter. The bill has in various circles been called draconic and unconstitutional, only creating additional barriers for investments and much-needed growth. Today's Allgemeine Zeitung also contains the paper's annual Christmas insert. Today's New Era reports on Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta's visit to the Cape Cross Seal Reserve on Thursday, during which he stated that culling will have to be increased to protect fish populations. Namibia is often criticized for its continued culling of seals. And now let's have a look at the inside pages. MarketWatch reports that the tertiary sector of the economy, mainly through mining and industries, is expected to provide much of the increased growth expected by the Bank of Namibia. And the front page of Sports Rep contains boxing news from Walvis Bay, where Mateus, the Beast, Haita won WBA's Pan-African Super Bantamweight title, as well as the regional youth game in Maseru, Lesotho. Sport Rep is daily reporting results from the youth games on the Facebook page. On Wednesday, Namibian Sun reports patients were turned away at the dental clinic at the Katudra Hospital in Windhoek when staff refused to work because air conditioning broke down. It is unclear whether it has been fixed yet. On Friday, the Minister of Health and Social Services, according to the Allgemeine Zeitung, launched an official electronic strategy to improve health services in the country. One of the aims is to significantly improve data collection throughout the country. New Era reports that the National Assembly on the Thursday adjourned for the festive season 3 weeks earlier than scheduled. Parliament will resume its work on the 8th of February next year. According to Republican, Monica Kashe traveled all the way from Tinsabes to Windhoek last week to hand over a petition to the National Assembly asking for the inclusion of the San community in negotiations with Germany about the reparations for colonial acts of genocide in Namibia. Because of miscommunication with the police, who has to approve all peaceful demonstrations, she will have to return to the capital city in 2022 to complete this task. And finally, from the inside pages of the Namibian construction commenced at Oshakati of a special school of computing where focused ICT and robotics education will be provided in the future. Minister Peya Mashelenge officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
Thank you for yet again joining us for your lunchtime update on Namibian news from all corners of the country. Have a nice day and please join the renewed focus requirement to prevent the uncontrolled spread of COVID-19 in our country. For now, it's goodbye from me, Glenora Shipura, but do stay tuned for a summary of today and tomorrow's weather prospects.